I scream loud. Like, I scream way louder than I think a lot of dudes who do this every day do. I can, yeah.
Rejoice, command, relive, rejoice, treasured, relive.
Like that kind of, like maybe, yeah.
Welcome back, everyone, to the story behind the scream. Today with, at least for me, but I guess for the both of us, a very special episode. We have here Adam from Rivers of Nihil.
Yeah, that's right.
That's
yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Rivers of Nihil, we just saw the show. You will see it in the video too. Was amazing. How do you feel touring in Europe, being back here? How is your voice doing?
Yeah, I mean, it's great to be here, doing all these festivals, a lot of them for the first time, and yeah, it's been awesome. It's actually our second time over here this year, and you know, we did a big US run, so it's been a real busy year promoting the record and everything. But we've been having fun. But yeah, I mean, you know, my voice is a little tired today, but overall, holding up okay, I'd say. You know.
Let's go!
We always ask the more or less real first question is like, can you remember the very first time when you heard harsh vocals?
Oh, that's interesting. It's good. It's interesting because there's degrees to that, I think. Like, because the first metal band I was aware of was like Judas Priest, and like that. So that's not really necessarily harsh vocals, but he does. You know, Halford would get up in that, and like, you know, they would get into the cracking and stuff. But then, like, you know, I get a little older, and like I think Korn was like the first major band like on MTV that I heard, you know, metal stuff, and that. Jonathan Davis, amazing vocalist. Is he a harsh death metal vocalist necessarily? Not really. But I don't know. Maybe it's hard to say the first time I heard harsh vocals. Maybe it might have been because I remember listening, the first time I ever listened to like extreme metal was like my friend got an early Cattle Decapitation record. And I think it was Humanor, or it was To Serve Man. And I listened to it and I was like, this sucks. Yeah, I hated it. Like, I just wasn't ready. I ready for that kind of stuff yet. Obviously love Cattle Decapitation. I've toured with them a bunch of times, and Travis is a fucking genius at that shit, obviously. Oh. But yeah, so that was like crazy at first. But the first time I guess I remember listening to death metal and like really enjoying it might have been Gateways to Annihilation by Morbid Angel. Yeah, so.
And from that, what made you try it yourself, and when was this?
Ooh, when I think what made me like start doing it myself was really a little later when Black Dahlia Murder kind of hit the scene, because like I got into death metal, I got into like Morbid Angel and Cannibal Corpse and stuff like that, but all those guys are like significantly older than me, you know. It was like that to me was like, that's metal for like grown-ups. And then like, so like death metal seemed like an unattainable thing. And then Black Dahlia Murder came out, and I was like, these dudes kind of look like me and my friends, like, and they're playing like blast beats, and like Trevor is like ripping it, and like, so that was really inspiring to me. And so that was like when I started playing, and by that point I had been playing bass in bands like here and there, and I would, you know, I remember the one band I played in early on, like the singer was like very like low growl kind of guy, and then like I was like, oh, you know, we could do some like high screams here and there, and I would try and imitate Trevor, you know, as a backup vocalist, and I would try to do that kind of higher register scream thing. So I think that's kind of where I got started.
As JP mentioned earlier, we've been doing this whole thing for 2 years now. And if we've learned one thing in those 2 years, it's that learning metal vocals sucks. It's hard, it's difficult, it often feels like you're not making progress at all. There's so many hurdles to overcome. How was it learning it for you? Did you also have these moments where just like, we're stuck, didn't make progress, where things just sucked? And yeah, how did you overcome those?
Well, I mean, for me, it did like an interesting sort of ride, because like I taught myself just sort of in a leisurely way, like no formal anything, like when I was younger and like just trying to imitate bands and in my basement when I was a kid and stuff like that. Like I would spend hours just singing along to songs that I thought were cool, like I'd like Black Dahlia and the Faceless and song, shit like that, and and Cannibal Corpse and all that stuff. And I, do my best interpretations of that, but probably, I'd come to learn later that was in a way that's not very sustainable. But I'd do it, I'd take what I would learn doing that and apply it to being like, a background vocalist in whatever band I was playing in, up through early Rivers of Nihil stuff. And, and so I would just, I would just hit the vocals as hard as I could. And since I've, stepped up into the lead role of that, like I've had to kind of learn how to preserve myself a little bit more and like take care and like find more, ways to make my sound interesting throughout an entire song, versus like a part here or a part there. And so but it was like, since the lead vocal role was kind of thrust upon me, like I kind of had to really teach myself quick how to, become that guy. And it took a lot more work than I expected. And it is something, honestly, I'm still working on,
Can you maybe go into like what were some challenges that you faced when you like had to fill that role?
Well, yeah, I mean, the first the first full tour I did as the lead vocalist, it was actually the Faces of Death tour over here in 2022, I think. And we, just going from zero to singing for an hour every night, my voice was gone every single night, and it was torture. And then like, I got home and then I rested up and I was like, okay, maybe I was just like sick or had something going on there. And then we did like just like 3 shows with Killswitch Engage like a month later or something like that. And like, again, voice just gone. And so I was just like, man, I must be just doing something completely wrong here. And then, and then I sought out a little professional help with figuring out how to draw that back a little bit. And it hasn't been without its stumbling blocks here and there. I still, have those old habits come through, but I've learned that is kind of part of my thing, is just the exertion and like the strain and like, the genuine pissed off vibe comes through. And that's, and that, you can't really deliver that and in a way that I feel that's like 100% safe.
Yeah.
And so, but it's been an interesting balancing act, figuring out how to get the most mileage out of myself while staying true to what I think sounds cool, when I sing.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting. One follow-up question I would have had, but you already answered, is like if you are entirely self-taught or also like work with like coaches and stuff.
Yeah, I had one formal lesson, and it was very illuminating, very, put a lot of, good habits in my head, and it was really beneficial, but I didn't really want to seek out much more than that. I don't know, maybe I will in the future still, but like just, I just wanted, like, I am a guy who likes to figure out shit on my own. Like, musically, like, I've pretty much entirely self-taught in all aspects. So I don't know. It's just like a really personal thing for me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
of course. Yeah, we had Jake Lors and Johannes Persson from Call of Luna here, and they also like in one point went to Melissa Cross for some help, but also just like specifically for like one or a few lessons, but just to get like a little bit of advice and then like keep improving on their own.
Yeah.
True. Talking already about your screams, I mean, you played already a great show and your voice is tired from all the things, but maybe if you want, we can try to do some screams. You can do wherever you feel comfortable. Like, you did lows, mids, highs, everything. I don't know, what is the most comfortable for you?
I mean, the high scream thing is like probably the most comfortable thing for me because it's what I've been doing the longest, and like it's if there's a, you know, my lows get real tuckered out, I can always kind of like dip into that higher register and like kind of finish a scream that way. Is usually I can try. It's context is very important when it comes to this for me. Like I like to, you know, like the music is the thing. Like it's like that's, you know, I will try, yeah. But it's like
otherwise cut it.
Yeah, I mean, like it's like that's the thing though. Like the context is important. I kind of like when I perform, like I think it's important in my head to like let go of me and just become the music. Like I'm just like, whenever I'm, you know, hear my ears, I'm just like, I want to listen to the song that we wrote. And that's the kind of what I'm thinking of. Okay. And so like, I don't know, but I'll give it a shot here. Like something like that. That's like a low, but I, you know, or like, I can, yeah.
I saw your tongue.
Yeah.
This was so shaky.
This
was crazy.
Yeah, I mean,
Sound is something else.
is it? Okay, all right.
Yeah, it's something else.
You need water or something?
No, that's all right.
Just, we have water everywhere, literally.
I'm good.
And hydration is the key we learned.
Hydration is very important. I've been drinking water all day, but you know, sun is very hot.
This sounded so fucking smooth, so consistent, the scream.
Thank you.
Like,
And volume-wise, I was up there.
I scream loud. Like I scream way louder than I think a lot of dudes who do this every day do. But and you know, some would say like that's a big no-no. But like, it's death metal. Like I don't know. Like it's not supposed to be safe stuff. Like I think it should hurt a little bit. That's probably bad advice, kids. Do it the safe way. Don't be like me.
hurt yourself.
But yeah, like but that's how I feel about it. That's I don't like to cheat the moment. I like to, you know, it's loud and be mad and aggressive with it. Feel the whole thing. Yeah.
Eric, you look at me like you had a question or something.
No. You also have some vocals to perform.
Oh, like this is maybe a bit out of context. I don't know. Like I was listening to this album when I also know my name up and down all the time, and the one thing that I love the most is Old Nothing there.
Oh yeah.
And I was wondering, because I checked out, okay, which songs are they playing, the setlist and stuff, and I guess it's like not the most famous one, or the people love different songs from the album more.
Yeah.
But I didn't see it in the setlist, so I was wondering, because you had this change from the vocalists, if there are any songs that you would never like to perform anymore because of the change.
It's not an issue of not playing it. Like that's a song that I feel like we would play. The only bugaboo with that one in particular is that there's nobody in the only people who wrote that song are no longer in the band. So yeah, like that's the one song that Jake wrote the lyrics for on it, and like yeah, our old guitar player wrote most of the riffs and stuff. So the current lineup kind of has a little like, you know, that's not one we would choose first hand. But yeah, I mean, it's not, there's nothing, eventually, like we all know like the 10th anniversary of that record is coming up. So we're going to have to probably play the whole thing, but it is sort of, for the way the band is now, it's more of a logistic problem. Like, Andy and Jared are, you know, they're pretty new to screaming, and so they can cover background stuff in my stead, you know. But there's some stuff that it's, you know, everybody's all playing instruments now, so there's some weird timings and stuff. It's hard to figure out how to arrange some of the songs for the lineup now, but we will do it, and we just, you know, it's gonna have to put more time into it.
Nice. But I mean, Eric was already asking. I feel a bit like ashamed. I don't know if ashamed is the right word, but since we have the chance that you're sitting from the States next to us, and I was trying to cover Old Nothing for such a long time because I loved the harsh beginning. It was so aggressive. This is far God, I false, I don't have here, and then this rejoice so long. I love these two parts because they're so different from screaming. And I don't know, I would try to scream them in front of you. Maybe you have an advice what I could do different, or
it is like it's a long scream, so it's like you got to find that range where like you're not putting out too much air, you know, like and it's more like you're not gonna sound, and I've had to like internalize this because Jake was very good at screaming in that middle range for a long time, whereas if I do a big long mid range or like low scream, it's kind of harder for me to maintain that. So like whatever in your range you feel most comfortable like producing a sound for a long time, you find that, and you know.
Super interesting. Like I would try it because I tend to, with rejoice, relive, I go always too high for them. But I would try it if you're down for it.
Yeah, sure.
Otherwise, if this is embarrassing, now we cut this out too. Okay.
Oh, yeah. Fuck out thy false which reign with fear.
This is like the beginning almost, where I like this aggressive, and then
I haven't listened to the song in a while, so I'm trying. Yeah.
And then the refrain is like,
Rejoice, command, relive the beginning of end.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that sounds good.
how you stay there on this.
Yeah.
I love this.
Do you want to give us a rendition of that?
Oof.
But it's a long time.
I haven't. I've never had to play that song live, you know, as the lead vocalist yet.
Fine, yeah.
So,
If you would do it, I would need to hide my boner, so maybe red or not.
The rejoice part? Just like, how would that sound coming from you?
that's yeah. I mean, well,
You gave us already a few screams, but like I have it in my head, like the texture, like I just want to hear it again.
I would have to try it a couple times. So this isn't official, but like
Rejoice, Dustman, relive.
like that kind of like maybe yeah.
Such another level. What the fuck, so great.
Okay, all right.
I love it, and I saw it here directly. It's really said it. You're in the spirit when you go live, like you're in this mindset. Okay, I'm live. I forget everything else, and I see it always.
Just want to enjoy the music myself. So in my in ears, it's just like it's the same vibe that like if I was like listening to it and like exercising or something. Like it's just like I'm just like up there, like I don't even really think about what I'm doing. I'm just like I just want to hear the songs played in this really cool natural way. And it just happens, I guess.
Eric and I, we had our first live gig for the very first time some weeks ago.
One song with Stacy. They also played today.
Oh,
Saw a
good.
guy in pink, weird hair, drinking beer. That's probably him.
Yeah, and the thing was there, like all the we have coaches that helped us from the very beginning, and they always said, like, you won't hear yourself on stage, so you have to trust your voice. When you go and forget everything else, I guess you needed some time in the past to trust your voice. Okay, whatever I do now, I forget myself and it will sound right. Is this for you the case that you can trust your voice, whatever you do on stage, that is fine?
I sometimes if I'm like feeling maybe you know, like maybe not 100%. I just have to trust that, like, yeah, I'm delivering the best, just get up there and deliver the best thing I can. And that, you know, there's other factors. It's not like the voice, the vocal is really important. It's super, like, it's probably number one most important thing in any musical performance. Like, but it's still like, there's still so much other shit going on. Like, I have, you know, I'm a member of a team of vocalists in this lineup. Jared and Andy are singing their asses off, and like Andy and Brody shredding solos. There's a saxophone, like the drumming is there. Like, you know, there's a lot of other things and that are going on that I'm like, there's still a great show going on. Even if I'm not at 100%, I'm going to give it my best. And, you know, the other things are there to make it exciting. And you know, it usually, if I come off the stage and I'm like, you know, I felt like shit, and, you know, or whatever, like, they're like, you know, usually, like, sometimes our sound guy, I'll be like, dude, you know, maybe it didn't feel great, sounded good, you know, and like, it's like the vibe. It's like if the vibe in the room is good, you know, you don't got that much to worry about. But if you got, you know, but if you're like feeling like total dog shit, like you can't even talk, like you should probably chill. You know, this last European tour we did in the, you know, in the wintertime, I got pneumonia pretty bad, and I had to, yeah, and it was, yeah, like it was like, you know, I couldn't even speak barely, so I missed a few songs, a few shows, but then it got to a point where I was like, I just gotta give these people something. And I got up and I did my best, and like, you know, like, and I was like, that probably sounded terrible. And like, the boys were like, dude, it just sounded like you're back. So I'm like, all right, I'll take it. Yeah, fuck it.
But I just saw when you did the screams here and also on stage, you make a face when you scream, like really, is it mimic in English? Mimic? I don't know how you pronounce it.
Mimic, yeah.
Mimic. The mimic. And it's like really like this. Do you do this on purpose, or is this just natural for you?
I guess it's just natural. Like, it's just, I think singing in a lot of ways is a lot like acting. Like, you're just sort of, you're playing a character. Like, you're like, and that's like, I get up there and I'm like, I'm like a death metal singer. And like, it's just, these faces just come out of, I guess, years of doing it over and over again. And like, it's just part of my performance, I suppose. It would be stranger for me to keep a completely straight face and just to deliver a vocal straight. Yeah, I guess I've gotten that when I'm in the studio to our producers, like, you know, like they get comments on how animated I get when I sing, and it's just like I like a lot of hand gestures and stuff like that. I can't really do that when I'm, you know, on stage because I'm playing too, but yeah, so it's just like I tend to just throw as much of myself into a performance as I can. Yeah.
All right. I would love to dive a little bit more into like the maybe technique aspects of your vocals. Maybe like you're self-taught, had some coaching. Do you know what technique you're using, kind of like in a more scientific sense, what's going on?
Yeah, I guess from what I've gathered, the lower stuff is more false chord, and then the higher stuff is probably more of a fry. But then there's like I put a lot of like the higher stuff I've heard is like I put a little more throat in that than I think most people would recommend you do. So it's, you know, a blend, but definitely more false chord than fry over across the board. Yeah.
Yeah, like then we share kind of the same technique, or it's just basically, even though we sound completely different. Like if I give you a low from my end, it would be like a whoa. But what I found so interesting listening to you is like the amount of power and energy you put into. Like you were like, okay, I'm gonna do it, and then like your full body went into. Like, can you maybe explain how you do it? Maybe, and also maybe give us an idea, like what do you feel in your body when you do it, if you can. Obviously that's a tricky question.
Yeah, no, I mean it is, yeah, because it is I've heard like in the proper lesson that I've had, it's like I've been told that putting like I need to take more of my body out of it in order to preserve for an entire set or something like that. But yeah, it is just like a kind of feel it in your bones type of thing. And I like you say that I did that. I don't even realize that I did it. Like it's just kind of it's just part of the like
Automated.
yeah, it's just like just this kind of you shouldn't kids again, you shouldn't clench, you shouldn't tense your muscles. You shouldn't like the all the muscle that you need to produce a scream or any vocal is just these tiny little flaps in the back of your head somewhere, making the sound with a little bit of air. It's not your diaphragm and like your throat and like your chest muscles should all be very relaxed and everything like that technically. But for me, a lot of the times I'm like, can't help but put a little extra like athletics into it just because that's the way I did it growing up. I was like, see these, I've going to shows, seeing these guys just like screaming their asses off. And I'm like, that's what you do. And that's, some would call it a bad habit, but I guess it's just informed my style up to this point. Yeah. So
it sounds super sick. Maybe can you tell us a little bit about like maybe what you're feeling in your throat? Because I think one major differentiator from your scream, or maybe it's kind of like a professional, like really nice scream, is like the amount of texture and depth you have. And we had that already a lot with quite a few vocalists. Like their screams have more depth than ours. I was like bland, and like Mark Garrett from Cutbox Academy, like one of the bigger coaches in the scene. He's always like, okay, you have your base ingredients, but then you put seasoning on it, and you have a bunch of nice seasoning on your screams, and ours are still like pretty bland. What do you feel in your throat? Can you tell where this like depth and texture is coming from? Like JP, I think you saw like his tongue vibrating. Like,
yeah, I don't know. It's just a sound that I want to hear, and like I trust myself to be able to make it, and my body responds in kind, I guess. And like it's hard to say. Like there is a little clenching graveliness to the front throat muscles when I do, especially lower screams. It's more like, but like that's like kind of but it shouldn't be. And I try to subtract and still make that sound. It's kind of a mind fuck for me to take a lot of the body out of it. It's you kind of.
Maybe you have the same thing going on, like a low, it's kind of like you drop your larynx like and the high is more up and out.
Yeah, that would make sense. Yeah, I would say, yeah, it's all the same basic sound, I think, but it's just like, it's just one I'm sending up and one I'm sending down, and like, of course, I think the mouth movements have a lot to do with it, and like you said, I didn't even realize that my tongue placement is kind of what it is. But I think when I do like a higher scream, especially really long ones, I've seen videos of myself where like it is like kind of like it really curls up in there. Yeah, so it's hard for me to explain, but it's just
it's vocals is always hard to explain.
Yeah.
It's a feeling.
Yeah,
to describe.
Yeah, and like that's the thing is like very rarely are people gonna like sound like any like you guys. If you want to sound like I sound or like another guy, it's very rare that it's gonna come out that way. You're just gonna and in my case, like I'm like, I can sort of try and imitate a guy, vocalists that I admire and I like, and like pick up little parts of what they do. And I'm like, and I just, remind myself, like, it's not going to sound just like them, nor should it. Like, it should sound like me. And like the finding the identity in your voice, I think is the biggest thing. Like, whatever that feeling is, like for me, like I said, like I beat myself up a little bit more than a lot of guys. And like, I'm okay with that, and it's never for me to change that about myself is, it would maybe sacrifice the sound that I want to go for, and I like just it is what it is. Yeah, I don't. It's hard to like say like go for this guy's particular low or this guy's high. You just like it's gonna sound better if it sounds like you, no matter what. Yeah.
Ultimately, it will sound like you because everybody's different, everybody's anatomy is different, so it will ultimately end up being a unique sound, even if you try to imitate someone. But yeah.
Otherwise, we would only have like cover bands or something. This is the nice thing that everyone sounds so unique.
Yeah, it is the unique guys that I found myself drawn to, especially like vocalists that I guess in death metal, guys that sound like they're in pain. I kind of dig that a lot. Like one of my favorite death metal albums of all time is Organic Hallucinosis by Decapitated, and that the singer on that record was just like, you could hear his voice giving out half the time, and I'm like, that's fucking awesome. Like that's fucking great. I love that. Like I don't like when bands just sound comfortable through a whole record. Like I want it to sound hard. Yeah.
You said already that you are constantly developing, constantly learning when it comes to screaming. Can you give us like something that you're working right now that you want to develop maybe in the future when it comes to your screams, yourself as a person, human being, but also maybe the band, whatever it is that you're working on?
Well, I guess as far as vocal stuff goes, like I'm always looking for that thing that like I can, just bigger and better, can I hold this kind of scream out for longer, and can I deliver this thing with more power? I'm never trying to do like, I'm not a big fancy tricks guy. Like I'm not like trying to do like some kind of weird, like not doing like gorilla vocals or whatever, like doing some like weird, like the stuff that, that a lot of guys, that seems really popular right now. Like I fancy myself to be a little bit more old school. So like, I just want to be able to deliver my thing with power and intensity for a long time, and that's really it. And it's, since the lead vocal role is new for me, relatively, that's what I'm trying to develop, is to like that presence and that strength and being able to carry songs really. And I think so far I'm doing okay, but yeah.
Sure. I guess I know what you want to mention, because before we forget it, the last question would be a community question, right? From one of our loyal followers, Tobias. He asked you the question, which is a bit off topic. How was the question? From where comes the idea with the saxophone, right?
Oh yeah, the real star of the show, the saxophone. We're writing the Where Owls Know My Name record, and the song The Silent Life was in the demoing phase, and the part that we know now as the saxophone solo break was just this big empty section, and we hadn't developed as like a clean singing kind of band yet, so I was like, maybe we could have a clean sung verse there, but I was like, I don't know yet if that's something we should rely on writing in. But then it also was like, it would seem odd there maybe. And like, we were just like, what else could we do there? But then we knew Zach Strauss, who ended up playing sax on that record as a local friend. And Brody was like, why don't we send it to him and just see if he can, just throw something on here as a counterpoint to the guitar solo. And yeah, just immediately, like, he sent us back just a rough take, like within a couple hours, and we were like, yeah, that's the right sound. And then from there, it was like, you know, when you get him in the studio, we just find all these other spots where like, we're like, yeah, we could put this here, we could put this there, and you just, you know, add that saxophone spice, and we just, you know, we did get to a point where, like, you know, the question was like, oh, is this too much saxophone? And we were just like, yeah, fuck it, let's go all in, why not? And so yeah, now we've got. Yeah, if the people love it, you give it to them. Yeah, yeah.
Adam, thank you so much that we had the honor to dive into your vocals. It was a real honor for us to meet you, to listen to your screams.
Oh, of course, guys. Yeah, pleasure's all mine. You're the winner. All right, boys.
Thank you so much.
Of course.
Philip came already and